chairman of the Center of Development Studies, and he has 14 years of experience in Thailand, and he taught in Thailand as well, studying the Buddhist-Muslim relationship in southern Thailand especially. And so this afternoon we will discuss a very important and yet often overlooked topic in Southeast Asian society, which is the relationship between the Muslims and the Buddhists in continental Southeast Asia. So we know that the region of southern Thailand has had a Muslim majority society, and we all know that the problem that has arisen in Takbai in 2004 has unveiled how the relationship was. So now the issue of negotiation and contestation of identity between the Muslim majority society in southern Thailand and the Theravada Buddhist society there as well has transpired into a considerable degree of violence. So now we are trying to ask a very important question: how a peaceful faith or a peaceful philosophy of Theravada Buddhism could initiate violence that has transpired in southern Thailand, and how the Muslims as well has initiated violence through some of their groups, such as the BNRC, which they dub themselves as freedom fighters in southern Thailand, and some commentators has dubbed them as jihadis, but it is in a Malay, Nusantara, southern Thailand, Southeast Asian color. So, without further ado, I would like to invite Tim to explain further on this matter. Please welcome.
Okay, thank you everybody. Welcome. Hope you're not too snoozy after the lunch. My talk might wake you up, I don't know, might not. This is just like southern Thailand, yeah? And we're talking about the deep south, called the deep south. What you should think about actually is quite exceptional, is the conflict, the violence, is Patani Narati Yala, what used to be called Patani with one T, but then you have Satun, which has got a Malay Muslim majority, but there's no conflict there. Yeah, interesting. Why is that? Actually, as I might mention, I come to mention later, there is a tradition, interesting, another way of being Malay in that state, yeah? So this is like, it's a Muslim majority and an ethnic Malay majority, but who are a national minority, yeah? So that's, so what is it like, it's like a case study of like being Thai or being a Buddhist and being a Muslim, but in this particular region. And how does that relate to the national context? So I think this is like an overview of what things I'm touching upon. Yeah, about truth. Who are we? What are we? Yeah. To me, my perspective, which is like a post-structuralist perspective, identity is a problem. I don't see identity as a good thing. It's, well, on the other side, difference. If you absolutize identity and difference, are not a good thing. Patani, in the past, was thought of as neither Buddhist nor Muslim. It's an interesting region that has many different civilizations, multiple identities there. Okay, but like issue in Thailand is Thailand claims, or Siam was never colonized by the West, but actually it did this very clever or very stupid thing. It did a colonized job for them. It colonized itself. So what you have in Thailand is internal colonization, and the internal colonization of regions by Bangkok and their idea of what it is to be Thai. And that's a royal Buddhist, extremely nationalist version of being Thai, which tends to subjugate any different ethnic or religious minority population. So the Bangkok is actually colonized northern Thailand, northeast Thailand, as well as southern Thailand. So maybe in the south, I would tend to argue that what we're seeing is a fight against an imposed Thainess by the state, one homogenous identity being forced on people, which is not appropriate. But that means, yeah, it's oppressive, it's quite racist, but it subjects and oppresses Thai people as well. Yeah, the kind of message is turn Thai or disappear. The nation, king, religion are the three aspects of Thainess, yeah? So when Thailand was built as a nation, it was these three pillars that all come together. Okay, so the identity politics talking about is with ethnicity and religion are combined together. To be Thai, you must be Buddhist. If you're Malay, you must be Muslim. Yeah, I'd say, says who? I would tend to say it's the state tells you you must be like this. Which tradition, which authority, yeah? But that you can't be Thai and Muslim. Many people identify themselves as Thai Muslims. Or, perhaps more controversially for you, what about Malay Buddhists? In Satun is a tradition of Malay people ordaining as Buddhists. Yeah, so Malay Buddhists do exist. I'm sure we can find Malay Hindus as well. Yeah? Who is it? It's telling if you're Malay, you must be a Muslim. Who says that? Yeah? I think it's secular, worldly, earthly powers and politics that tell you. Okay? But this thing about Thainess, Malayness, trouble is, it presents the dualism. Are you this or are you that? Yeah? In situation of conflict, it becomes like, are you one of us or are you one of them? Friend or foe, kafir, unbeliever, Siamese kafir, or as from the Thai would say kek. Kek is their name for people from many people, Arabs, Southern Indian people, Malay, basically people have dark skin. Kek in Thai literally means guest, yeah? But basically the dynamic is other. You are other. You are, and it's skin color figures as well. You are a dark stranger within Thailand, yeah? So I would say is how, in the southern region, we could say there is peaceful coexistence and amity, but how has that turned into intolerance and enmity? Like we said earlier, I would question, are religion and ethnicity really primordial? If we make them so powerful, they stop us from putting ourselves in each other's shoes. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all the same, basically. How are we divided and set against each other? Ethnic and religious nationalism set us against each other, make us totally different. We must understand about how religion is actually used. Yeah? Religion, the doctrine is one thing, how it's lived and put into practice is another thing. The old religions claim to be very peaceful and wonderful, but how they're actually used in the state and when they're politicized is another thing. So that's why I say at the bottom, how are people Muslim in the south of Thailand? How are people Buddhist in the south of Thailand? It'd be different from how they are in Bangkok, northeast Thailand, or the north, or in other countries. So what are the consequences? Okay, so like, they could be free, the way you practice your religion could liberate you, but the way it's practiced could subjugate you, could be domination, yeah? But all religions are contested. Which version, which tradition? It's not just Islam, within Christianity, within Buddhism, there's so many different varieties. Quite often it's a small minority or elite imposing their definition. Oh, you must be a Buddhist this way. You must be a Muslim in this way. Yeah, that's how come religion gets implicated in politics and power. And the violence, the nasty bit, killing killing people, this is where a notion of a higher truth or the ultimate truth, authority, a sacred truth can come into being. In other words, when humans start to take up a position of, as God, deciding you are life worthy of living or you are life worthy of dying, because I know the mind of God, or I represent God here on earth, or if you're a Buddhist, I represent the Dharma, the ultimate sacred truth. I must protect it. That's, this is the worrying thing. It seems like to me that all religions are very capable of generating this violence and killing, yeah? And to me, identity is like violent. When you start seeing, you don't see the individual in, say, a conflict situation, but you just see that, oh, that's a Buddhist. All Buddhists are like this. You are a symbol, you are representative of a class, and not as a human individual. This is, to me, is kind of like primal violence of identity and identification. Say all Buddhists are not the same, all Muslims are not the same, all Malay not the same. Yeah, there's no necessary unity to you're a Malay, you're a Muslim, you're a Buddhist, you're Thai. You can't. Nothing what follows about your identity, your experiences, your interests. Yeah, this is more conceptual, theoretical point. Yeah. So we're talking about Thai Buddhists, people who are identified as Thai Buddhists, people identified as Malay Muslims in the south of Thailand. Now, we think, particularly Western people, Matsali, think, oh, Buddhism is so peaceful and nice. But we tend to have got this idealized image of Buddhism is Platonic, it's very otherworldly. That means you're in the world, but you're not of it. Somehow spiritually, you're removed, you're detached. But if we examine Buddhism, how it's lived, Buddhism has never existed outside the state. Yeah? Buddhism has always existed in the state. And it's kind of always mixed up with politics and power relations. Yeah? Example, in Thailand, it's a national religion is Buddhism, and there's kind of religious nationalism. Yeah? It's how the modern states, or how people have got their nationality, their identity, religion has been mobilized, particularly Southeast Asia, to kind of like, who are you and what are you? So what I say is like, we mustn't have a religious theory of religion. Religion is, of course, it's involved in politics and power. Its truth is historical. It says, yes, it might claim, oh, its truth is universal, eternal, transcendental, but we must see how is that religion being practiced, how is it being lived. Yeah? So we need to go and see that. What's happened, we could see some of these images show, is like, it's what happened when Buddhism, because the soldiers, the security forces in southern Thailand are Buddhist. This is what they get implicated with the military and forces, as you can see here. Because the BRMC, or the Malay Muslim militants, attack them. So when they go on the arms round, you can see the picture to the right, they need guarding. Yeah? But on the other hand, they bless, you see a monk in the middle is blessing the soldiers. Yeah? You see it's already getting involved, this Buddhism, not just about meditating, contemplating, being in the temple somewhere, very much involved with security issues. The Thai state denies it, but in southern Thailand there is a war going on. It's potentially a civil war, the whole country, but it's a war that's been going on since 1940. Yeah? If you know the Haji Tulong, the massacre of the Senor, the fighting, the struggle in southern Thailand has been going a very long time. It's not something that started in 2004 with Tak Bai, Krusi, massacres when Thaksin was the Prime Minister. Yeah? There's been a struggle for independence and autonomy by Malay Muslims a long time. Because the trouble is, the region is not just Malay Muslims. It's got ethnic Chinese there and a lot of Buddhists there. That's when it gets kind of complicated. Okay, so the things in Thailand, the king is very important in Thailand, as the tradition of is a Buddhist monarch. But though he's meant to be the upholder and protector of all faiths, he gets his power, his charisma, from being the Deva Raja and the Dharma Raja. Yeah, the Dharma Raja is a Buddhist notion of the leader, the sovereign. The Deva Raja is a Hindu notion, yeah? So it's, the king is like a Buddhist king, and why am I saying that? Sets out the norm to be Thai is to be a Buddhist. Thai and Buddhism go together. That's incarnated in the symbol of the king. Okay, so we already got the king and the state is being Buddhist, and that means that people should be guided by Buddhist principles, yeah? But the unintended consequence of that, it can legitimate violence when Buddhism is being seen as under attack. Okay, and now, like Islam, Buddhists see themselves as peaceful, yeah? And as non-violent. This is why, if you talk to average Thai people, they would say, the conflict in the south is being caused by Malay Muslims, yeah? They say, because we're Buddhists, we're peaceful, yeah? But that kind of ignores how the minority, how the Malay Muslims have been excluded from being Thai, yeah? From being excluded, taking part in Thai. So it becomes a security issue. Identity becomes important. Are you a Buddhist or are you a Thai? Yeah, in the south. Are you one of us or are you one of them? And when the militants attack the monks, which the Thais is beyond the pale, they attack temples. These are sacred places. And the monks are sacred vessels of Thainess, of sacred Dharma, Dharmic truth. And that's why there's that's what leads to the Buddhist fury and the rage, yeah? Is when the temple is attacked, a monk is attacked. And as you probably know, the monks are not just killed, but they're beheaded. Also, the militants attack civilians, the women and children. Also, they attack fellow Muslims as well if they're deemed to be traitors. There's this extreme kind of violence that, what is going on there? The monk, when they attack, if we look at the arguments of Jerison, I took my title from, wrote a book called Buddhist Fury. He said, why the Buddhist monks are being attacked? They're not being attacked as Buddhists, he argues, or as individuals, but as representatives of the state. Yeah? That's why they attack the monks. What it is, I can express it this way, the church and the state have come together. They're not separate. In Thai society, we call the Sangha, the order of the monks and Buddhism is the church, and the state are come together. So they see the monks, the Buddhist monks in the south of Thailand, as representatives of the state. And the state, the Thai state, is seen as like an occupying force, colonizing force. So that's why these are very powerful symbols. That's why I said earlier, it's not the monks as individuals, it's what do they symbolize? They are representatives or symbols of the Thai state. And it's kind of like, so that evokes the violence there. So this way it's like the monks Buddhism becomes politicized and nationalized. And when it's under attack, there's a tradition in Thai Buddhism of saying, well, you must do anything to defend the religion. Yeah, something's desecrated, it's defaced. When somebody defaces or desecrates the Quran, or similarly for Buddhists, somebody blows up or attacks a monk or attacks a temple, this is kind of comes to extreme, and you must be defended. Yeah, so it's like not offensive violence, but it's defensive violence. But in Thailand, because of extreme nationalism, there was a Buddhist monk in the 70s in Thailand. The enemy of Thainess were the alleged communists. There's this monk called Kitiwuto, and he said, it's okay to kill communists. Why? Communists are not human beings. So it's seriously, it's my bar. That means it's not a sin to kill communists. Because they're more like animals, yeah? They're not human beings. This is why people murdering other people say, we haven't violated any human rights. They're not humans. They're cockroaches, they're dogs. They're not human. We haven't violated any human rights. So the 70s, the enemy of the Thai state, the enemy of monarchy nation was communists. Now, well, most recently it's Thaksin and his sister in the red shirts, but I think at the background, it's the Malay Muslim is kind of like an enemy, or it's like an other, yeah? It seems like Thainess uses Buddhism to define what it is to be Thai right. And to be Thai, it needs something which is not Thai, like an enemy other. And the enemy other, say, with the communists, it could be the Malay Muslims, and that now kind of people following Thaksin. Yeah, Mr. Jerison puts it well. He says that the monks could be seen as walking embodiments of Thai nationalism. Yeah, so there's symbolic meaning which is important. Yeah. So you see, people can imagine that it's got the temples and mosques. People used to be alongside each other, but with people, the more soldiers being put in, the more repressive security measures taken. It's people see the monks are somehow caught up with that, yeah? That they didn't construct it, but this kind of meaning of them being there in southern Thailand becomes more problematic. Now these, in the history of Buddhist monks in Thailand, that's why I say that to understand Buddhism, it's not otherworldly. They've always been a part of the state, actually. They use the monks to develop the hill tribes in northern Thailand. They use them to help development. But really it was like anti-communist, to get people to be passive, to be good Buddhists, to follow and respect the king and not follow communists. So the monks have had this kind of governmental role, yeah, of promoting the government and state policy. So they're not outside politics and power. I think the most kind of like extreme phenomena you have in the south is like have soldiers becoming monks. Yeah, monks cannot become soldiers, but soldiers can become monks. Yeah, and why they have to do that? Because they see the South is constructed as Thai civilization. Buddhism is under attack. This is the front line. Yeah, we're under attack by Muslim others. The kind of like nationalist fantasy. Oh, the Malay Muslims want to take over. They're going to take over the whole of the South. then they will declare independence. The Patani will separate off from Thailand, then maybe spread to the rest of Thailand. So this is why this phenomenon has come about. Soldiers ordained to be monks. This is why people, commentators said, go to south of Thailand and you can see monks with guns in their bags on an arms round. You see monks in the temples being reported with an M16 beside their bed. Yeah? Now how is it a Buddhist monk can have weapons, How can they're not meant to kill anybody, yeah? It's the image of Buddhism. But the rationalization is they can if the Dharma is under attack. If some evil people are going to come along and totally destroy Buddhism, that legitimates and justifies the use of weapons. Say it's like in defense. And as the troubles or the bombings have increased, you have soldiers and police in the temples. They say, to protect the monks, protect the temple. Now that had an important effect because in the past, the local Malay Muslims used to come and consult the abbots in the temples to get advice, to get dehexing, to get some kind of traditional medicine. So it wasn't uncommon for Malay Muslim people in the southern Thailand to go to the temple. Yeah, there was peaceful coexistence there, and like a sharing of each other's traditions. But since, say, like 2004 onwards, it's the Buddhist temples has become more haram space. Cannot go in there because it's been militarized. As I said, the monks have become more militarized as well. And also, when these attacks, this of course feeds into like demonizing Malay Muslims as well. Yeah, it's this idea. There's a fantasy, this nationalist fantasy, as I just said, about Malay Muslims going to take over. So, but on the other side, from the Buddhists, the nationalist Buddhists, the nationalists, Thai nationalists, say, we have to ethnically cleanse the south and get rid of these dangerous kind of people. This is this just kind of escalates the violence as people see each other as the bad or evil other and react towards that person. It just tends to like spiral, yeah? This Prior X was just a monk. He said that one of the monks who had a gun, he said, well, people ask him, why do you have to use your gun? Was that I might have to for self-defense, and if the insurgents come in, I have to shoot them. Yeah, but this is like very shocking. In Thailand, people deny the existence of these soldier monks. They say they don't exist. This is not true, but they actually they do exist. Yeah, but they maybe not officially. Another thing we can see is Queen Kit, who's still alive. The Queen, she was so outraged and shocked when it was a Thai teacher was murdered in southern Thailand, and she thought this is absolutely outrageous. So her personal crusade was to kind of encourage like what we can describe as Buddhist militia and village Buddhist defense squads, and wanted to get everybody in the villages to learn how to protect themselves, yeah, and how to use guns in case they're attacked by people and come and kill them and what. But actually, people blame Thaksin, but I've learned that it wasn't. Thaksin went along with letting the security forces react in a very bad way in Tak Bai and Prim C, but actually this was the Queen's orders. Yeah, I spoke with somebody who very close to Thaksin and said yes, Thaksin, yeah, he didn't order it. Actually, this is more to do with the Queen. Yeah. So this is she's got a thing. I don't know why she has a thing about the Malay Muslim South. But yeah, this is Sudore, some people who at the very top on the power. Okay. So if we go to about Thai nation or Thai nationalism, religion is used to narrate what is it to be Thai and how the Thai nation came into being. Okay, that included some people but excluded other people. Yeah? And it denied the whole history of Patani. Yeah? The Patani was one time a sultanate. Yeah? That was that's erased. And it said not just the southern Thailand, but also the north. Any ethnic regional differences, they kind of like erased. So it's like Bangkok is most important, Sukhothai, so it's a very particular image of the Thai kingdom, what it is to be Thai. But going back to what I said earlier about the Thailand colonizing itself, it was like Rama V. He actually is the one who he sent ships, gunboats up to Patani and imprisoned the last sultan. So this is like how Bangkok, the kings learnt from Western colonialism, yeah, but then they applied it to their own population, yeah. So they like colonized Patani, yeah. So say they subjugated it. Now, what else is it about Buddhism? Buddhism, like how it's used in the state, functions as like a marker of ethnicity, yeah? You could say imagined race. And this is for rule and domination. So like Thai Buddhism is to do with the politics and power, a certain kind of rule. So the monks signify the legitimacy of the Thai state. But ethnicity and religions are not the same. They don't coincide. So there are multiple Buddhist and Muslim ethnicities. But like Thai became this exclusive sign for Buddhism, and Malay became the exclusive sign for being Muslim. And it's like violence that polarizes people. There's one way of being a Muslim, there's one way of being a Thai or being a Buddhist, yes? All the friendships and the inter-ethnic sharings and commonalities is erased. So that Thainess is exclusive, it's not inclusive. So this is why I think racism, I said earlier, racism comes into being. It's how the Thais see people as kek, the dark strangers, Malay, Muslim, they are not, it's like they're doubly excluded from Thainess. They're dark-skinned, and they're not Buddhist. So they're doubly alienated, they cannot belong, yeah? This is like, kind of, and also the Buddhism comes to stand in for being civilized, yeah? It's Buddhism was like Rama V and the kings tend to see being Buddhist as being civilized. If you're not Buddhist, you're savage, yeah? So it's how these things align with each other and what is excluded and what is included. The darkness, okay, what is also about kek is for Buddhists, if you have dark skin, it's a sign of like impurity and being impurity and like lesser status skin, yeah? This is in Buddhism. It's funny, Thailand was never colonized, but having a light skin is seen to be a sign of spiritual purity. So this is like why, just like in European racism against African people, and the Christian tradition, what is it about blackness and whiteness? But in Thailand, it's an Asian form of racism, or it comes from Buddhism. It's to do with chart and identity, like your caste. In Buddhism came out of Hinduism, like just reincarnation, reborn, higher position. Somehow a lighter skin means you're more internally, spiritually pure. If you go to Thailand, they've got a whole thing about being white, yeah? Extreme, and being somehow, if you've got a dark skin, that's low status, it's low class, it's dirty, yeah? Which is this kind of racist stereotype. If you've got brown, dark skin, you know, you're not pure, you just have different skin color. But somehow this is historically been linked up with being, you know, say being Buddhist and being pure, all a part of the nation, religion, and king. Okay, so I think southern Thailand, what we're seeing there, let's just summarize it a bit. What we're seeing there is like, it's a struggle in what's going on in southern Thailand, the Buddhist conflict with the Malay Muslims. They want to decolonize themselves, yeah? They've been decolonized by the Bangkok Thai state, and want to liberate themselves from kind of like the racism that's imposed on them, yeah? But the racism is kind of involved up with being Buddhist. Are you Buddhist or not? Are you Buddhist, you're civilized, or you're not a Buddhist, somehow you're savage, you're a savage. You're light-skinned, you're dark-skinned, yeah? It's how you're excluded. So there's a form of racialization going on there. Okay, so we move on now to the BNRC, Barisan Revolusi Nasional Koordinasi. They are the key player behind the violence. People didn't think there was any one group of insurgents or freedom fighters, but actually they have been prior to 2004 and kind of afterwards. Recently, last year, there was a whole range of attacks occurring outside of the deep south, places like Hua Hin and kind of further afield. And this is their work, yeah? They're very powerful. People always talked about, oh, they're ghosts, so they didn't think they existed, yeah? Nobody could find them, and who are they, what are they? There's a book called Deciphering Southern Thailand's Violence by a German guy called Helbart, who's managed to interview and got behind who these RNC fighters are. So they're struggling for independence from Thailand, yeah? And they see themselves as representatives of all Malay Muslims in the south. There's a trouble there is like, it's claimed that not all Malay Muslims actually want to have a separate state, want to separate from Thailand. And some Malay Muslims see themselves as Thai Muslims, yeah? That they like the monarchy, or they don't agree with the violence, yeah? So again, you have a problem with somebody speaking for others, somebody saying, you must be a Muslim in this way. If you're not in this way, you're not one of us, you're one of them. Are you a friend or are you an enemy? This happens within the Muslim community there. The BRNC are described as nicely, so they're guerrillas, but they're part-time guerrillas come terrorists. Yeah? They're not terrorists, they're not global jihadists, they're not like IS, but they do use violence. And they use it against their own community if people don't agree with them. Yeah? As well, not just against Thai Buddhists. They say that this is what they want. They want freedom from the Siamese unbeliever, the colonizer, yeah? It's a local, what they're doing is like a local jihad, or it's a jihad with local characteristics. They very much Patani. They've got an idea of an identity as opposed to Thainess. They want to put forward a Patani, like a jihad for a Patani Malay Muslim identity. They see in the past, the Patani used to be a sultanate. The people debate that, whether it's ever governed by a sultan. I'm not sure, ever had Sharia law. Maybe you guys know history of Patani better than I do. But this, it was like that, and they want to return it to that. And they would drive out the occupier, the colonizer, which are the Thai Buddhists. But the enigma of them is so much their violence is directed towards their own community, and say like the non-combatants, men, women, and children, not soldiers. It's one thing, isn't it, to fight against the soldiers, the police or the Thai soldiers, but they do use a lot of so-called soft targets. Yeah, this is why they could. The book that I mentioned to you says they like terrorists. They use terror. I would say it's like the medium is a message. Their medium is one of violence. That's why they cut off people's heads. They have lots of bombs going off. All their acts, very spectacular acts of violence, to use terror, to shock people, to wake people up, to rouse them, to generate the consciousness. But they can't alienate their own community. They can't go too far. Yeah, they must, because they want to recruit people, they want to mobilize people for their struggle for a separate, independent state of Patani. So though they use violence, they mustn't use too much kind of violence, yeah? So they have to constantly think, to get feedback, have we gone too far? Yeah? We can't, certain things they won't do, but there's a lot of things they do. Okay, they're not terrorists, as I've said. They're hybrid. That means they're organized, but they're separate at the same time. They have a lot of autonomy. They're not a local expression of global jihad. Yeah, they're very local. They're quite nationalistic. They're very, very highly organized. They fight against the Thai state and Thainess, but you can argue they're setting out their own notion of what it is to be a Malay, what it is to be a Muslim. Yeah, so quite prescriptive. You must have this kind of identity, and they demonize and they other the Thais. Yeah, see, Thai Buddhists has been decadent. They're the cause of the trouble. People's immorality, corruption. There's a very good video. I don't know if any of you ever seen it. It's about a border town in Thailand, just across the border from Malaysia. It's called something like Red Light Jihad. Yeah? Any of you ever heard of that movie? There's a video you can check out on YouTube. And it's about like Malaysians, rather, I think about Malaysians hopping across the border to enjoy the exotic Thailand, and about how they interview some of the Thai sex workers who work there, and then it shows all the attacks have gone on, all the bomb attacks and people being killed. Really, it's like fascinating. But I think why I mention that to you is like what's shown in this little video is very much what the BRNC thinks is awful about Thailand. Yeah, that they're immoral, they're impure, causing people to become materialistic and losing their way, not interested in going to the mosque and what have you. So it's a kind of a mutual, it's like Frantz Fanon said, that people get locked into this dualism, this Manichaean world, like you're evil, let's each see each other as evil and bad. So, okay, so their enactment, they're using religion, but they're using it just the way the Buddhists use it, is like in a violent way. Yeah? So the Thai state, as I said to you, says, turn Thai or you disappear. The Thai state has murdered, massacred many people as they challenge their Thai-ness. Yeah? But the BRRC is returning this message. You will disappear. Yeah? It's like, you know, it's a mirror image of state violence by a non-state actor. Okay, so but the other traditions of Islam in Patani, in the deep south, there's not this one tradition, but that is espoused, being put forward by the BNRC. I say, moreover, the tradition of peaceful coexistence. Yeah, many different identities. Is who or what you are, is it just determined by religion and ethnicity? So I would argue that this is already an act of violence, yeah? Who are you, what are you? Can't we just be a human being? Why should our ethnicity be the most important thing? Why should our religion, yeah? I see religion myself as a product of 19th century colonialism. I think what exists in the world are spiritual practices. I'm not quite sure these things called religions are. That to me, you're homogenizing, you're grouping people together. Humans, we have spiritual practices. I'm not sure, you know, this religion, are you one of these, are you one of those? But what's at stake, perhaps the BRNC, I'm sympathetic towards them, is they're fighting against Thai-ness, yeah? And that means a very authoritarian type of rule that goes on in Thailand. But they are resisting it, they're combating it, and they're rebelling against it. In the past, it's sorts of shared magic practices and traditions. As I said, that the Muslims would go to Buddhist temples, Saturn, people coming, Buddhists. So if we talk about Islamic civilization and Buddhist civilization, it's a bit worrying. It just sounds a bit like we're thinking about Huntington, yeah? Seems like you Samuel Huntington, we've got these great big civilizations clashing with each other. And the religion is the most important aspect of a civilization. Yeah? Can you just say, I don't know, it's, as humans, as a Freudian, it's hard for any of us to be civilized. I mean, human beings have a problem with civilization in a profound way. Can we really be civilized, yeah? So I don't know about civilization. Because this is what I would say, is we're all common humanity. We're all the same, yeah? Do we want to fixate and fetishize minor differences, yeah? Maybe we should be indifferent to differences, yeah? To see our commonality. Not just don't focus on what sets us apart, but what do we all share, yeah? Or another way of putting it is we're all strangers to ourselves. We're all others. Okay. I hope that didn't put you to sleep.